Majestic sound. Tell them to say.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Toby D, and you have now tuned in to my Faith Football Fans podcast. Today we want to look at the Falcons defense. The off season is now live and in effect. As a matter of fact, the off season workouts will be starting very, very soon. And probably when you do hear this, some of you, the off season workouts will probably have already started. But if you're listening to it as of right now, it hasn't started just yet. But as we talk about the Dan Quinn defense, of course, I'm sure that Dan wants to bring somewhat of a semblance of the model, the defense he had over in Seattle. The Seattle defense that he made the Super Bowl appearances 2 times with. Now, we don't want to disrespect that defense because they have grown together and became such a cohesive group. So there's no way you could get it absolutely exactly on with the defense that they had over there and still have in Seattle right now. But Dan Quinn, of course, could emulate it as much as he can. And last year, he didn't have his Michael Bennett piece. And I think this year, him and Thomas Dimtroff has hit it on the head with the DE Derrick Shelby signing from a crowded Miami Dolphins front in the defense. Of course, you know, notable names as Cameron Wake, who unfortunately went down last year and caused Derrick Shelby to have to fill in from off the bench to play in his spot doing the substitutions and having to play a lot of time last season. And he did quite well. Now, Derrick Shelby, for many of you that don't know, if you know about the Michael Bennett role in the Seattle Seahawks defense, Michael Bennett was used all over the defensive front, and he moved around in many places and was effective in a lot of them. You watch that game against New England, they could hardly contain the man because everywhere he moved, he gave that offensive lineman a lot of trouble. And they're hoping that they can get the same type of effect, if not better, out of Derrick Shelby, and I believe they can. Now, the other thing that they did do, the word is that they are moving Adrian Claiborne, who is now in his 2nd year with Dan Quinn in this defense, back to the defensive end role. As you know, last season they had him in the defensive tackle role, and it really was not working out as well. And I think they moved him back a little bit at the defensive end role, which he started performing much better. And he will now be back at that role. And now I'm looking at a comparison between what Bennett and April is to the Seattle Seahawks to what Adrian Claiborne and Derrick Shelby could possibly be for the Falcons. These are 2 pieces that Dan Quinn needed. Thank God that the Giants did not sign Adrian Claiborne because they were slooping around heavily trying to sign this guy. But he is now back with the Falcons, and I think these 2 guys is going to be 2 heavily needed pieces to really make Dan Quinn's defense pop, similarly to what you had with the Cliff Averill and Bennett role. Now we're going to continue to look at the Falcons defense just to see what other pieces are in semblance to what Dan Quinn wants to bring over here from the Seattle Seahawks defense. And we all know that Ricardo Allen was a pleasant surprise to many. Well, not to me, because I knew that he would be what I thought he was. Clutch player as safety. And we're going to talk about him too. But until then, I thank you for tuning in to Faith Football Fans. This again is Toby D. Peace out.